A dead man can talk to you if he wants to. One day I was sitting at home when I saw a text message from my friend Ellen. Her family had been out of town for a few days, and she wanted to know if I thought I could come to their house. I didn't have any plans for that night, and since I had stayed with Ellen before, I told her I could come. A few hours later, I arrived at Ellen's house, and Ellen and I had dinner and discussed what we were going to do. That evening, my friend Ellen and I decided to watch a documentary. My cousin had a big box of old documentaries from her deceased great-grandfather. We started rummaging through the box, but we couldn't find any interesting documentaries. Finally, when the box was empty, my hand touched a height on the right side of the cardboard box. It looked like something was stuck between two cartons on the right side of the box. I tore the box and looked at the height. It was a CD case. It was labeled The Lives of the Dead, an Ordinary Documentary. My friend was surprised, because according to him, he knew this huge archive by name and had never seen such a documentary before. We were both going to watch this strange documentary for the first time. I opened the box and out came a CD with a black front side. We stood in front of the TV. Ellen turned on the CD player and asked me to put the CD in. I was hesitant because I was afraid of being scared. It was a very strange feeling to be afraid of being scared. It's hard to even describe. At that moment, Ellen snatched the CD out of my hand and put it in. "You're not afraid of this stupid thing, are you?" She was brave. But I know too much courage is not good. The documentary started. We were surprised when we looked at the running time. It was a short 3-minute documentary. Maybe the rest of it was corrupted. We'd have to wait to find out. Ellen pressed play on the remote and the documentary started. As I expected, it was a creepy documentary. Ellen just stared at the screen. Photographs of graves and corpses flashed across the screen. My heart was about to burst. Even Ellen's bravery wasn't enough. At 30 seconds, just as Ellen grabbed the remote to turn it off, a voice began to speak. "The dead are not as dead as you think. When they die, they continue to exist in other dimensions of life. A dead person can talk to you if they want to." It was really nonsense. Ellen had had enough of this nonsense and turned it off. That was a disgusting documentary. I'm going to the restroom. When Ellen went to the restroom, I was left alone in the room. I glanced at the clock. It was 8:20. Minutes passed and Ellen didn't come back from the restroom. Curious, I followed her, and when I entered the bathroom, Ellen was lying on the floor. There was no wound, no blood. I was shocked. Frightened, I touched Ellen. She was as cold as an ice chest. I felt for a pulse. There was none. I was so scared. I called the ambulance and asked for help. They put Ellen in the ambulance and me with her. A short time later, I was in the hospital crying over Ellen, who was covered in a white sheet, when the expert who was examining the body came up to me and started talking. "When did you find this body? This person has been dead for at least 3 days. I immediately looked for the message Ellen had sent me, but there was no such message. It had been a very long time since I had texted her. I was in shock. I had no idea how she had sent that text and how I had gotten there. That's when that disgusting voice echoed in my brain. A dead person, if he wants to, can talk to you." Ellen had spoken to me and invited me to her house to find her.